Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kira Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental A-Team Podcast. Hello, Dental A-Team listeners. This is Kira, and you guys, you are in for the best treat of your life, Consultant Takeover. That's right. Get ready. They are dropping some dynamite. Our consulting team is incredible, guys, and we are so blessed and so fortunate to have them sharing tips and tricks with you today. And as always, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time on the Dental A-Team Podcast.
Hello, Dental A-Team listeners. This is Tiffany, and you are here on Dental A-Team Consultant Takeover, where the traveling Dental A-Team consultants take over the mic and share tips and tricks from hundreds of offices nationwide. And today, I have with me Britt. Miss
Hey,
Britt,
guys.
I'm so excited. I love podcasting with you. I really do. I feel like we're like a lot of the time on the same page, right? And we're like, yes, this is great. Because I mean, we talk about things we consult on. So I think that's why. But then I think also you and I are similar in a lot of ways, but you and I are drastically different in a lot of ways too. And so I think it also is fun sometimes to like, one, I'm like, oh, that's a good perspective. I wouldn't have thought of that, right? But then two, I think sometimes we challenge each other, and I think it's pretty cool. So
for sure. It's consultant hangout time. It's like nerdy dental time. Like, great, let's talk about the things. You got a different opinion. You got a good way to do it. Let's talk about it.
It's so true. It's so true. And it's so fun because I don't know if you listeners know this or not, if Kira's mentioned this multiple times. She has, I know. But our marketing team, they're freaking fantastic, and I love them. And what they've done is they found this incredible resource for us to record our podcasts on, and they've made it, though, so that they're video. So the funny thing is that Britt and I and the other consultants, whenever we podcast together, so whenever I'm, the one hosting or Britt's hosting or somebody else is hosting the podcast other than Kira, we've always done it by video because it's always been on Zoom for us. So we've seen each other. But now the whole world gets to see us when we're seeing each other. So it's different. Like, it's so much different. I had to really, because I was like, oh, it's fine. Consultant podcasting, meh. And then this morning I was like, no, like, girl, you're going to have to make sure your hair is straight. Like your eyebrows are like not all, sometimes one goes wild and the other's normal, Anyway, so we're here. And I really want to talk about, I want to talk about something really fun. And I think it's something that we can utilize while we're talking to you. I want to talk about asking for reviews. And I think this day and age, it's not quite as hard as it used to be. I think it's much easier. I think people are more comfortable with it. I think we expect it. I think we can thank Google for that, right? Every time we leave somewhere, Google like messages me on my map, like, were you just here? Leave them a review. I'm like, okay, great. So I'm getting all of this exposure. And then we ask, right? Like and I like right now, like if you love our podcast, you love our videos, you love seeing our faces and hearing our voices, and you're getting tips and tricks, like tell us, right? Because those reviews, you drop us a review on whatever platform you're listening to us on right now, you drop us that review and it helps us know, great, quality content. We're nailing it. We don't get reviews. We're like, I don't know. Could we have done better? Could it have been different? And then we come up with the ideas on our own, right? Because then we're like figuring out what we could have done differently, what we could have done better. And really, we might have nailed it, and we just don't know because we're not getting the feedback. So those reviews for us are a way for us to get feedback. And I think it's the same for practices, right? Because when you're asking your patients for reviews, it's a way for you to get feedback on the services that you're rendering and on the experience that they're having. Otherwise, you guys are just taking stabs in the dark all the time, trying to figure out if people like it or not. That feels like a lot of work to me, right?
It helps to get feedback, and it helps like other people who are looking at the Dental A-Team, right? Like,
absolutely,
if they're looking for a good resource and you're like, yeah, they're great, and you give us a review, it helps other people find us, because in this day and age, that's what people go by. They're going to rely on reviews and what people are saying to like help them make that decision.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would never walk into a medical practice of any kind before reading reviews, especially a dentist. And I'm sorry, I know the PCPs are fantastic and your doctors are super important. Like, I totally get that. This is my whole body. Totally understand that. But you are like, you're literally drilling on my tooth. I am not walking through that door unless you have got some stellar reviews, and you better have more. If I'm honest, I need 120, 150 plus. Like, you have 6 reviews. I'm like, oh, I'll wait it out. You need some more time. You need some more practice. You keep practicing on those patients and we'll watch those numbers spike up. And that's just the bottom line, is like, people want to see that other people have opinions, and what are those opinions that they're having about you. And if we're not asking for them, we're not getting those reviews from them. What are we doing? Like, why are you doing all of this work if you're not trying to figure out if it's working or not?
Right. And I'm like, it's totally valid that that's what people go by. They want to be able to have a little information before they walk into your office, and they're going to use whatever resources they have available. So let's help to provide them with as much information as we can by asking our patients for reviews so that they can give that feedback and put that information out there.
For sure. For sure. And I think everyone needs to be asking for reviews. A lot of people in practices, they'll ask me, well, who should be the one asking a review? Should the doctor be? Should the front office? I feel like it's the front office, because if I ask and then they ask and then the patient, and I'm like, you guys, anybody can ask. And guess what? If doctor asks me to give a review and then the front office is like, hey, when you get a chance, give a review, I'm like, oh yeah, thank you for that reminder. Like, now 2, 3, 4 people have asked me, like, for sure I'm going to give you a review, because otherwise, like, I'm going to forget when I leave here. So thank you for the reminder. I'm sure that's not everybody.
Chances are, like, team members remember. Chances are, like, you're probably not going to be asking the same person, right?
No.
You're not.
And you know what, Britt? You know a really good way to make sure that doesn't happen? When you walk up front with your patient, you say, and guess what? Britt's going to be so sweet, and she had such a good experience today. She's going to leave us a review when she leaves. She's not going to forget, because she loves us so much, and I just can't wait to see what you write. Now, my front office knows not to ask for another review. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see your review come through. And now you're tied to a review, because guess what? I just locked you in and made you commit to not only me in the back office, but you just committed to my front office girl too. And we can't wait to see that review come in. You're like, oh yeah, I'm doing it.
That could be another end. And like, the beauty of communication, right? Mm-hmm. Like, most things can be solved with it. So that's an easy solution for reviews.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's your favorite way? I have my favorite way. What is your favorite way to ask for a review, Britt?
My favorite way, like, one, I love asking the patients that I love. This is the hygienist. Yeah, the patients that I love asking for reviews, because I want more people like them. So, yes. And I love to give a compliment that's genuine. So I will usually let the patients know, like, hey, I love seeing you. I'd love to take care of anybody else that you have, family, friends that you want to send over. And we know that people rely on reviews, and we'd love to take care of more people within our community. So if you don't mind, scan this QR code, go leave us a review, and help other people find us. It's all about other people. That's my favorite way to do it.
Mine's the same. I love making about other people. And I think to Britt's point, from a hygiene standpoint, that's huge. And that's why I love to train that way when I train practices to ask for reviews. So like, doctors, this is for you to use, to take to your team, because the whole reason that we got into the medical field and into dentistry is because we want to help people, right? So if I come at you and I'm like, sell, or ask for reviews, because then you're going to get more new patients to sell to, like, that's not going to sell to anyone. Nobody's going to take that. And that's not why we're doing it. Like, we're here because we want to make people healthier. We want to help people choose the right route. We want to help people know that there are alternatives for them that they didn't even realize, and help them know that they're sick when they're sick. Like, that's why we're in the medical industry. So if we just talk about that, if we talk about why we're doing something, it's genuine and people want to help us. They want to help the greater good. So if our greater good is to make a bigger reach and a bigger impact on our community than we already are, we can do that by receiving reviews and allowing people to see us on Google as high ranking, so that they can come to a good place to get good dental treatment. It allows us to reach more people in our community. Who's going to say no to that? Who's going to be like, nah, I don't think the new people coming into this community are actually going to be interested in dentistry. So like, I'm not going to leave you a review. Heck no, they're going to go leave a review because they're like, you know what? That's brilliant, because how do you find a dentist if you're not getting a recommendation from someone? You Google. You go to your insurance company, you see a list of names, and then you Google.
Yeah,
And if you're
100%.
Googling and there's no reviews, you're moving on to the next name. So help me help our community by leaving us a stellar review. I know your appointment was awesome today. I love the feedback that you're giving me. And if you wouldn't mind, I would love if you'd share that with our community by leaving us a quick review. It doesn't have to be long, just a few words, just letting them know that there's a safe, genuine place that they can come for dental treatment when they need it.
Yeah, 100%. And make it easy for them to find it. I've seen offices do a couple different things. I've seen them put it up as like a QR code in their office. I've seen them put it like on the backside of their clipboard for like treatment coordinators to be able to
I
like
love
have
that.
them scan it really quick. I've seen little cards that they make with a QR code on it. So make it easy for them to leave that review for you. But like, even if they're waiting there for a second, hey, go ahead and scan right now. That way you can even take it with you and fill it out, but at least they've already got it up.
I love that. I totally love that. Good job, Britt. Those QR codes came in clutch. And I feel like in the last 2 years, they have just exploded. And it's probably the restaurants, because we all know how to use a QR code now. I didn't know how to use it before. I was like, what do you mean my camera? That makes zero sense to me. I'm going to take a picture of it and it's going to land me. So I just never did it, right? Because I didn't understand it. But I think now we understand it. We know how to make them. Google. Thank you, Google. Like, we know how to make them. We can create it. We can make it easy for people. And even creating a little video like this, a little 30 seconds, video on how to write a review. Put it on your TV out in the front with the QR code up there. Like, sometimes people don't know how to do something, so it keeps them from doing it. So make it easy, create something that makes it easy for them, make it easy for your team. Talk to your team about the verbiage. These are your action items. We're rolling into action items. Talk to your team about reviews. How many reviews do you have? How many do you want? How many do you have? How many do you want? What's the difference between there? And how the heck are you going to get there by the end of the year? If you've got 100, I want to see 200. If you got 150, I want to see 250. Like, also, by the way, side tangent before we get through all the action items, I learned from a marketing company this week, which many of you may already know, that depending on the amount of reviews that you have is where Google puts you in the ranking on searches, which I knew the reviews made a difference, but apparently once you reach 250, you surpass 250 reviews on your Google reviews, not other platforms. Your Google reviews surpass 250, you hit a new bracket. And Google is like, wow, they're doing amazing things. Let's ramp them up. So you guys, if you don't have 250, that's your target. I don't care where you are. If you got 2, your target is 250. I don't care. It might take you 2.5 years to get there, but I want you to freaking get there. There are companies that help. You can do it quick. You can do it quick. Friends, family, who's coming to your practice? You guys, hit up those people. Hit up the people that are in your inner circle. I know my friends would come to my practice. The girls that worked with me, their friends are coming to my practice. Like, they should be the first people to write reviews. So make it easy. So figure out how many you have, where you're trying to get to, what's the difference. So how are you going to get there by when? So figure out the number, come up with verbiage that you guys all like, and train your team to do it. Set those goals and just do it, guys. It's not that hard. And today, right here, right now, when you click off of this, wherever you're hearing this or watching it, go leave us a review. I want you to practice and see how freaking easy it is to leave a review. Google the podcasts. I can't think of what all the different places are called. That, I have an iPhone, so I can only think of like the the purple podcast thing, but I know that there's one on all the platforms, Spotify, like Instagram, all of these places, TikTok, wherever you're listening to this, leave us a review. Hop on the podcast if you're on TikTok and leave us a review. See how easy it is. TheDentalAteam.com, right? Hop on there, The Dental A Team. You Google us, you'll come up with our Google. Leave us a review. Let yourself see how easy it is, and see how easy it was in this conversation for us to be like, go leave us a review. Go do it. Because it's that simple. And if we overcomplicate it, you guys are missing out. And then guess what? People in your community are missing out too. And that literally makes me sad. Like, it makes me so sad inside to think that something so simple might make it so that somebody in your community doesn't have the opportunity to find a really good place to go get really great dental treatment. And many of you out there are holistic health practitioners, and that's huge. So do your community justice, do them the service, and go do things. Make it easy. It doesn't have to be hard. Go get it done.
It's not hard. Once you've got your verbiage down, guys, it's not that hard. Figure out the verbiage that's going to work for you, right? Like, you guys don't all have to say it exactly the same way. Like, make it something that like rings true to you. I'll also add this in, like, there's a little bit of, I believe in you get what you give. So like, I know I also try to leave reviews for people. Like, if someone's doing a good job, I try to leave reviews. Like, there, just put some positivity out in the world. And like, it's one of those rare things anymore that gives people a chance to actually like help each other out, put some positivity out there, give some compliments. So go do it for other people and ask people so they can do it for you, because anytime that I get to compliment someone else and let them know how great they're doing, it makes me feel better too.
Totally. I feel way better when I compliment somebody else than when I receive a compliment. I'll tell you that much right now. And it lasts longer. That high lasts way longer. So I love that. Good job, Britt.
You think you're inconveniencing your patient, but like you're not. They love you. Yeah. So like give them the opportunity to say some great things about you.
I love it. I love it. And your friends and family, guys, come on. Come on. Make it easy. I love it. Thanks for going down that tangent with me today, Britt. I love it. I think reviews are just so important and so special. So thanks for doing that with me today.
Absolutely. It's a good one.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. That wraps up the Dental 18 Podcast Consultant Takeover. Let us know what you think. We love hearing from our listeners. Again, drop us a 5-star review or email us over at hello@thedental18.com. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you next time on the Dental 18 Podcast.
And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental 18 Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.